Dionne Warwick is one of the greatest singers in music history. From the early 1960s to the early 1970s, her run with composer and songwriter Burt Bacharach and his songwriting partner Hal David was iconic. During that period, with apologies to Aretha Franklin and Gladys Knight, Warwick was arguably the most popular women's artist in the business. Bacharach and David wrote songs for Dionne that were tailor-made for her. The duo felt no one else could sing these songs but her. Songs like Don't Make Me Over, Walk On By, and I Say a Little Prayer are testament to the fruit that grew from this collaboration. Even after the trio broke up, Warwick continued to deliver great songs with other producers. Examples include Then Came You, a duet with the Spinners, I'll Never Love This Way Again, and Deja Vu. Despite all the success she's had, at one point in her career, Warwick felt compelled to change her name because of bad luck. She's changed her name a couple of other times as well. Why has she done this? Keep listening to find out the answer to the question, why does Dionne Warwick keep changing her name? Dionne Warwick was born Marie Dionne Warwick on December 12, 1940 in East Orange, New Jersey. Dionne and her sister Dee Dee started their own group when Dionne was about 14 called the Gospel Airs. They were good enough as a group to win first prize in an amateur contest at the Apollo Theater. After she graduated high school, Warwick received a scholarship to study music at the Hart College of Music in Hartford, Connecticut in 1959. While in college, she continued to sing backup for other artists with the Gospel Airs. At one recording session, she was approached by Burt Bacharach, who was a conductor for Marlene Dietrich at the time. He asked if she'd be willing to do some more background work and demos for him and his songwriting partner Hal David. Dionne would sing demos that the songwriters wanted to pitch to record labels and see if they would sell. Eventually, Warwick, Bacharach, and David all signed with Scepter Records. Dionne recorded an album and had a hit right out of the box with the song Don't Make Me Over. However, inexplicably, her name was spelled incorrectly on the album cover. Instead of Dionne Warwick, W-A-R-R-I-C-K, her last name was spelled Warwick, W-A-R-W-I-C-K. Dionne liked the new spelling, so no correction was made. This is how Dionne Warwick became Dionne Warwick. As we touched on earlier, for about the next decade, Warwick would be perhaps the most popular female artist in music. However, the Warwick-Bacharach-David trio broke up in the early 1970s, and Dionne struggled for the next several years to stay relevant in music. Around this time, Dionne began to delve deeper into astrology. As those of you know who remember her connection to the Psychic Friends Network in the 1990s, she was a fan of the subject. While she was always interested in astrology, she now had a lot of free time on her hands to really check it out. Back in the 1960s, she met astrologer Linda Goodman. At the time, Goodman suggested that Warwick change the spelling of her name and that Warwick should include an E at the end of her surname. Why? Goodman said that there were vibratory reasons why Dionne should do it. Maybe Dionne thought Goodman sounded crazy, or maybe she just wasn't interested in doing it. Whatever the case, Warwick didn't change her name at that time. However, what may have sounded crazy in the 60s when you're at the top of your profession might sound reasonable in the 70s when your career has stalled. Looking back, Goodman told her that the name change would not only balance her last name, but also bring good fortune to her career and her marriage to jazz drummer William Elliott. As a result, shortly after her breakup with Bacharach and David, Warwick became Warwick with an E added at the end. She maintained the spelling of her name for about 4 years. In that time frame, she divorced her husband, who in turn asked the courts to award him $2,000 a month in alimony. She also had 3 albums that tanked on the charts. Dionne later admitted that the name change was the worst thing she could have done, as it brought her more bad luck than good. Thus, name change number 3 occurred, and Warwick, W-A-R-W-I-C-K-E, dropped the E and became Warwick, W-A-R-W-I-C-K again. After the name change, Dionne's career began to take off again. After the name change, Dionne's career was on the rise again. It took about 4 years, but ultimately, she changed record labels and started making hits again. Dionne was on the comeback trail, as she became the first female artist to win a Grammy for Best R&B and Best Pop Performance in the same year. Her album Dionne would go platinum and remain on the charts for a year. Additionally, she began hosting a new show called Solid Gold. Now, those things may have happened anyway, even without the name change, but better to be safe than sorry. To date, she has not changed her name again and has stuck with the spelling that was a misspelling of her proper surname in the first place. We hope you like this dive into the background of why music icon Dionne Warwick changed her name not once, not twice, but 3 times. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and be sure to come back to check out more videos. See you soon.